Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Shadowrun Dragonfall. As we continue the campaign, we are in the labs, and we need to make progress. Our goal is deeper in, much deeper in. Pretty heavily defended as well. So let's check out this room first, because I haven't got any eyes on it. Some kind of office and a terminal. This terminal shows a nearly featureless login screen. Hacking 5. Have your decker hack on an account. I'm a decker, well I can just do it myself, hack an account. You find a selection of emails from various staff members. Email 1. I know you need to pass through multiple checkpoints to get outside for your smoke break, but there's no reason to break protocol and smoke in the lab. The material that we are working with is dangerous. Your laziness is putting people at risk. Please do not let this happen again, Lilith. 2. Dearest Taya, please stop asking me where my work has taken me. You know I can't tell you what that. I made it clear when we parted at the train station last year. Security on this project is very tight and all our outgoing emails is being scanned. Although we have been quite busy recently, I believe we are nearing our breaking point and I can come home to you and Felix soon. All my love. Klaus, again, excellent work on the venting system. Everyone is very pleased with your performance. It seems like only yesterday when you were one of my interns, and here you are, nearly appointed department head. Beyond anything I've told you earlier, you can have access to the guard storeroom in your section. Use access code 1247 in case of emergency. That's for level 4 personnel and above, though, so keep it to yourself. Okay. So we have access to the guard's storeroom, which is nice. Which is in here, I take it. Don't know how we're going to get into there. Right. We notice a couple of people in here. How do we want to do this? We go through the front door, they'll have all the advantages. Maybe go through the side. That's probably our best bet. We will rush them this side. At least we'll have some cover. Okay, what we got here? A mage. Well, we know what's going to happen. The mage has to go down, unfortunately. And then let's go. It takes us 2 turns to get in here. That's not great. Well, let's go for him. That's not going to work either. Okay. Putting a bullet in their head is probably just as well anyway. Come along, my little drone. Okay. I need to get into a degree of cover. That's not good. I mean, the drone has to die. So, I mean, like... Well, the mage has to die. That isn't enough. Unfortunate. That's really bad. Just the final enemy. Right. First things first. I should have dropped this, really, sooner. heal himself a little bit of the damage. He's got one. I really need to kill this mage. That person's pretty much dead. That person up here needs to get shot. Let's first just start taking pots at people. That's unfortunate. Where can I get to? Try for that. That was just terrible. And I hated every minute of it. Okay. I'm not in a good position whatsoever. I will just... That's bad. Okay. Hit that person. You can fall back, please. Get into a degree of cover and take that person out. These guys are really bunched up. Do I want to use a grenade this early on? Shouldn't have done that. That was a stupid thing to do. I wasted a lot of ammunition for something that did not really help. Okay. Then we've got a flank. Okay, you need to step out around here because you got pinged. You need to get healed. Man, it's taking ages for the fireball spell to wear off. I'm going to throw down an axe and surge on you. You can run back into cover. I know you're right there. But you need to die. You're too much of a threat. There we go. A little bit of health back, not a lot. Okay, let's look at the terminal. This screen, yeah. Terminal flickers on and off, displaying error codes. Press a key. You press a key and the screen begins to flash. After a moment, the system reboots itself. When the screen winks back on, you find yourself staring at the content in an administration box. Read the first message. Borhad hands to admin. We need to organise all staff meet to discuss lab safety. Everyone is overworked and overstressed, and there's a perfect recipe for workplace accidents. I'm telling you, we cannot afford any more accidents. The loss of Von Widjek has been hard on everybody. He was well liked, and watching him die in such a horrible fashion has been hard on morale. The staff is still committed to the cause. They all know what they signed up for, and they know how important this is, but losing such a good man because of such basic lapse in lab safety has been a difficult pill to swallow. Borchad. Second message. Volkraf Adolf, admin. I am writing this request request additional security for the animal testing lab. You know how large and vicious those creatures can be. Without more trained handlers on staff, we're just begging for another accident. You remember what happened to Von Widgick? Von Widgick. I also like to respect my request that the animals be defanged, declawed, and muzzled, preferably someplace far away from the lab. Our having to use them is unavoidable due to their genetic similarity to our targets, but we don't mean we can't take precautions. Denuff Ingrid, admin. Just want to thank you for pushing to bring a new hermetic lab online. It's good to know you're listening to our requests. The research that the hermetic researchers have been doing should make our work with the panacea much more manageable. Okay, so they're testing creatures with genetic similarities. Interesting. Right. Okay. Right, so we have to go into this room. Right, those gun turrets are offline. They're really armoured up, and how do we get into this room? There's a large crack that runs right through this section of the wall. I mean, I don't think I can chuck a grenade or anything from here, can I? No, I can't get into combat mode. This is the soldiers. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to get to the. Yeah, there's a large crack. Okay. I mean, I'd love to get into here. I mean, I have the code for getting into the soldiers' lab. Right, if we're going through this door, we're going to be in a bad way, so let's try going through the side door. And there's even more enemies. And of course, I don't actually have any time to act. This is the thing I find annoying. It's like, yeah, like, I know they're here, so why do they get a surprise round when I don't? It's like, that's the thing I don't understand about this game. It's like, oh yeah, come on, like, I have a heal spell. What do you mean you're not wounded? She's wounded. Oh, of course, because this is the thing I forgot about Shadowrun, is you can't use healing stuff, like healing spells, on already existing wounds, only on things you get that turn, because, you know, reasons. And there's no cover, because of course you can't hide behind this crate, or in this corner of this room, or anything, so, okay. Because that would be stupid, wouldn't it? Oh, great, there's another mage. Oh, tons of enemies. Because, you know, Let's... Let's throw that, which has got most of them stun locked. We're going to spray you. You're hurt. We're again going to throw haste on you, please. Let's get... Okay. Of course, because yeah, I mean, like, just why not just have another guard just flanking from behind? Okay. Right. That spell still hasn't come back online. Right. Follow that up with that. Okay. Big guy has to go down. There we go. Hey. We took a lot of damage from that. Let's just go into here and see where the last... Okay, yeah, that's where the last person is. Can we heal anybody else? Nope. Okay. Get in here, please. So this person isn't going to leave cover at all, I take it. No. Okay, fine. They're held up good and tight. There we go. Everyone gather up. Yeah, so we can't apparently get into this room with anything. I suppose like if you had some kind of charge or drones, I don't know, like. Are we supposed to be able to take control of the gun turrets, or... I mean... What does this do? That's for drones. I don't think the gun turrets count as drones. I mean, once we like left this area, we can't get back in. Ah, wait, I know where we need to go. That was silly of me. It's here. Isn't it? Storeroom 1247. Ah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to switch out one of the premium med kits. So I can get a trauma kit. Still can't... I suppose they expect us to what, like, be able to... like, blow a hole? Like, if someone stands there, we can blow a hole or something in it? I mean, you... Yeah, there's a large crack that runs through this section of the wall. Like, there's no way... I don't have any way of doing it. There's no interactions. It's a shame. Okay. Yeah, new area. Panacea. The sound of the machines fade behind you as you venture further underground. Whoever built this facility was clearly well financed. It must have taken years to design, excavate, and build a complex like this in secrecy. You continue through the dimly lit halls, finally stepping into what appears to be another laboratory area. The corridors before you are deserted. Dr. Adrian von Clare is somewhere in this facility, and with him, the answers you seek. Okie dokie. Can we get off to the sides? Apparently not. There's only this door, which apparently it's probably going to be... Yeah, when you can't open side doors or anything, it's normally an indication that bad stuff is being planned. Long corridor. Wide open room. Yeah, this smells like a boss fight. Definitely a boss fight. The old man behind the glass wall works feverishly at his console, glancing up at you when you can. A cigarette dangles from his mouth, the bluish smoke curling around his head. An overflowing ashtray sits on a lab table in front of him. The years have not been kind, but his features are instantly recognizable. Despite his age, he still has the strong chin and high cheekbones that you remember from Green Winter's DVD. This is Dr. Adrian von Clare. As you approach, he stops what he's doing, a look of intense irritation on his face. He clears his throat, and a harsh, rasping sound emerges from the loudspeaker next to the glass. So you're the Shadowrunners that Alderaan warned me about. I assume you've left a trail of corpses in your wake. And you must be Dr. von Clare. Oh, is Adrian around? I've got a message from him, from Paul Abzel. And that's on you, Doctor. You've got something, and you must be Dr. von Clare. That's right. Scars, don't know why you insist on interfering with my work, but I assure you that's over now. You reach down, flips a switch, you hear a loud thud and click behind you as the door locks shut. You find that the blast doors behind you are sealed and that the laboratory you occupy is fully secured. An important precaution: we keep our test subjects in there, and they are now far more dangerous than you. He takes a drag of cigarette. I won't permit you to cause any more further harm, Shadowrunner. You remain trapped where you are for your own good. Break the glass between you and Von Clare. The hell I will. Igo, why don't you tell the doctor how we feel about being trapped? Igo, why don't you tell the doctor how we feel about being trapped? With pleasure. With one smooth motion, Igo raises a shotgun and unloads a spray of pellets at the glass. They clang into the window, ricocheting wildly in all directions. The surface remains unblemished. The windows between us is made of Dectro-treated transplast. Do whatever you like to it, you find that it's quite unbreakable. The bastard's right, nothing we're carrying can even scratch Dicoty. That glass is essentially sieved in diamond. We need military explosives to crack it. He frowns. We're stuck in here. Now, he fixes you with a last stare. I want to know why the hell you're so violently injected yourself into my business. First you break into my estate, which you didn't even know was mine apparently. Then you spend what must have been a small fortune to track me down. You located my AI, destroyed it, then drove all the way out to the countryside, and finally you shot your way into my laboratory. He leans forward, hands on the table, his eyes narrowed into the piercing stare. So I have to ask, Shadowrunner, who are you, and why in God's name are you here? We came here to find you, Ron declared, to help us stop Firewing, except Firewing wasn't the one after us all this time. It was you all along, wasn't it? The Wonkier sighs, covers his face with pale, nicotine-stained hands. To help you stop Firewing. That is ironic. But yes, you are correct. I am the one who's been hunting you, the one who sent Apex and Aldrin after you. You're going to pay for that, you bastard. Why attack the Bazaar, Von Claire? Why kill Paul Amzell? It was necessary to preserve the secrecy of my work, for the greater good of all. I know I have wronged you, and for this I am sorry. He sighs a long, rattled sigh, and then quickly turns into a violent fit of coughing. The sounds echo over the loudspeaker. He collects himself and continues. I don't expect you to understand, nor do I have time to explain it to you. He straightens, glancing back at the screen to his side, and nods curtly. Now, I must know, why did you learn that I was still alive? How did you even know to look for me? Did someone send you? Your brother said you were the only only hope to stop Firewing from returning. Your brother got us into this mess. He hired us to break into the estate. We pierced the rest together from his journals. We found out about you from your brother, Von Claire. He was trying to find you right up to the end. Well, there was this antique DVD storage device, a bunch of talk about Dragonfall. Oh, and the bloody corpse of a man named Green Winters. Maybe you know him. We found out about you from your brother, Von Claire. He was trying to find you right up until the end. Von Claire stares, and sudden movement of his arms send an overflowing ashtray flying from the table in a cloud of ash. A look of dread fills his face. Up until the end? What do you mean? Where's Hermie? Explain yourself. Oh, you mean you didn't know? You killed him too, just like Paul and Monica. Hams is great. I mean, dead as a doornail. Someone's pet eye fried his brain, but other than that, that is great. I'm sorry, Doc. He was digging too deeply. Let's see. Oh, you mean you didn't know? You killed him too, just like Paul and Monica. He slumps into the chair next to him, his whole body shaking. I didn't. He suddenly overcomes by another fit of coughing. He steadies himself, one arm of the chair. Apex, he clutches his chest. I should never have trusted that thing. He closes his eyes, and the tear traces his way down the gaunt hollow of his cheeks. Oh, Hermie. Things I sacrificed, all for this, all for Panacea, all for tonight. Panacea, your modified virus. What's tonight, Doctor? What are you planning with Panacea? He looks dazed, his eyes unfocused. Yes, you know about that then. Panacea, it's my life's work. A permanent solution to the age-old problem. It will mean the end of the dragons, not just firing all dragons. Let me get this straight. You had a bad experience with one dragon, so now you're going to wipe out an entire species? There's quite a few dragons out there, Doc. Powerful dragons. I don't think they'll support your plan. So let me get this straight. You had a bad experience with one dragon, so you're going to wipe out an entire species? Let's go explain yourself, Doctor. Von Claire fumbles in his pocket, producing a fresh cigarette. He lights it with shaking hands and breathes in deeply. The orange glow of the cigarette flares bright. When he exhales, the world spills out with smoke. Firewing burnt and murdered and caused untold damage to her bestial rage until the Dragonfall, until I stopped her. But the destruction was merely a symptom of a greater cancer. Firewing wrought destruction with fire and claw. The dragons of today, Lofweir, Donkzel, Sildir, Donkzan, and Silji, they kill and conquer with subtle tools, deception, manipulation, corruption. He spits with disgust. They use us as pawns, playing pieces, puppets in their millennia-long machinations. Oh yes, the dragons are a cancer, one that will conquer or worse destroy all of humanity if we do not stop it. One that metasized when the world awakened. Ironic metaphor, since it was the failing of my own body that allowed me to see it. Let me guess, you have cancer. Late stage 2, if I had to guess. I'd say leukemia. He's racked again by violent coughing, allows it to subside, takes another long drag of cigarette, the ass creeping closer and closer towards his mouth. Your friend is correct. I suffer from cancer of the blood, brought on by the radiation of the socks, no doubt. It was when I had my doctor's diagnosis that I realised what I had to do, what my life's work would be if in the time I had left. I am sorry, Hermie. I'm sorry you wouldn't be able to see it for yourself. I'm sorry I failed you. Von Claire turns attention back to his computer, stubbing out his cigarette. He grabs a fresh one from the pack and lights it. Tonight I release Panacea to the world, and how absurd that the instrument of Dragonkind's destruction. He presses a button on the terminal. A large observation window at the far end of the room rises slowly. Will be carried by a fire wing herself. Through the glass you see the preposterous form of a dragon. Far below, an enormous set of shackles binds it, and a maze of tubes sneak into its body. The tubes connecting to a cruel-looking apparatus that's being mounted to the wall. Son of a bitch! Look at that. You found her alive in the socks after all. Tonight, Firewing will fly again. Infected with Panacea, she will slowly be destroyed from within, but before that happens, she will provide a catalyst for a global transmission of the virus. Catalyst? What catalyst? As if spurred on by the sight of Dragon below, he begins typing furiously on his terminal. Firewing's fire will carry the agent in its dormant state. Any metahumans exposed will become carriers that will spread the disease to other dragons. The carriers will be infected with Panacea as well, but it will not harm them. No, to non-dragons, it is a nuisance, nothing more. When the critical mass of the carrier is achieved, my Panacea will become unstoppable. It will spread across the globe with relentless tide. However, if it does not reach this critical mass, it will fizzle out. It will fizzle, die out, become inert. Hence, the need for a ground zero, a flashpoint for the mass infection. He looks to the ceiling, mumbling to himself, "I'm sorry, Hermie. I know how you loved your flock state, but it doesn't matter now. It must be Berlin." Hang on a second, you're going to sick the Firewing on Berlin? He continues his work filled with feverish energy. To save the world, yes, for the Panacea to work, Berlin must burn. A sacrifice, one of for the greater good. Firewing will breathe her infected fire upon Berlin. Thousands will die, and through that destruction, the virus will take to the air. A critical mass of Berlin's metahuman population will be exposed, but no one will even think to quarantine the city until it's too late. The Flux State lacks any centralized authority. Corporations will evacuate their own, and thousands will flee the city infected. He mutters, his voice growing more detached. "Oh yes, Hermie, Berlin is a perfect flashpoint. It wasn't supposed to happen tonight, no, but this little intervention of yours leaves us no choice, so let us see." He squints at the screen. Tonight's wind pattern dictates that the ground zero will be Tempelhof, Sonnenberg, highly populated. The virus will spread quickly from there. That's only a few kilometers from the bazaar, says Iger. "Don't do it, Von Claire, I swear. I will make you hurt if you do, and I will make it last." Von Claire sighs, such as Temple, his eyes tight, brings a shaking hand to his face. "We all know that is not going to happen. You are trapped here, impotent to stop this from happening, and it will happen." The old man's eyes, cigarette butt in his hand, fishing out another from a pack and lighting it with the first. Then he turns to the console, reaching to the side for a microphone. He mutters something into the receiver. You can barely make out the sound of the name, Audrun. Then he turns to address you again. His voice is leveled. He shakes his hand. The shaking his hand seems to have decided. "Security will be here soon, and they will take care of you. Do not worry. You will not be harmed. The sacrifice that I have been making tonight is necessary evil that cannot be helped. But as long as you remain confined, I see no reason to kill you tonight." You don't burn a city and call it a sacrifice. You call it what it is: mass murder. And how are you going to get Firewing to get along with that plan of yours? And how are you going to get Firewing to go along with that plan of yours, you say? Von Claire continues to work. "Oh, that's simple enough." He gestures to his left. She has no choice. The gaunt woman in the container cell stands rigid, her face pressed against the glass. Her haunted yellow eyes track your every move. She appears frightened, disoriented, lost. Her mouth moves slightly, her voice muted by the glass cage. So the stories Green Winters found were true. Firing astroform was separated from her body when she fell. You trapped it somehow. Yes, but that came later. In 2012, we took down Firewing with an experimental weapon. The device, suffice to say, I couldn't fully predict how it would affect her. In 2036, I led a search team into the socks. I had to know what really happened to the creature that I had slain. We found her alive in a way. The dragon's astral form, her spirit, you might say, had been ripped from her body by the weapon. It was trapped inside a young woman living in the socks. A mob of glow punks revered her, treated her like a goddess. I transported the young woman and the dragon's body here, where I could study them. You mean she's been in that cell for almost 20 years? Snarls Dietrich. Old man nods. Absolutely no choice. A creature separated from its astral form cannot live more than a few hours before both die. It was highly intense radiation of the socks combined with the magical creature inside her that allowed the woman to live for the longest she has. So, Von Claire seems almost eager to explain. The environment within her containment chamber mirrors that of the socks. It's allowed us to keep Firewing alive all these years while her bestial cell remains chained up below. Now, as for her physical form, that is simple as well. We drilled a series of electrical charges directly into her skull. When we release Firewing's body empty of her astral self, we will trigger all the various instincts and primal urges left in her reptile brain. She will unleash her fire where we command it. That's horrifying, even for a mass murdering dragon, you say. He shakes his head and misplaced empathy. The beast blazed a path of fierce destruction across Germany. No matter, I have more important things to do than debate the morality of this with you. Firewing must fly, Berlin must be sacrificed, and that must be tonight. Now, where is that damned Adrian? You don't burn a city and call it sacrifice, you call it murder. Let's go with that one. Wonkler stiffens, turning your face. Anger washes across his face. What is mass murder when the Americans dropped the atomic bomb on Japan? My optic would say yes, just as you are now. But they did it for a cause, to shorten the agony of the war, to save the lives of thousands upon thousands of soldiers. The old man is trembling now. I do the same for the good of the world. If we had academic, it's like, the America. We could have gone with that one. Also, except we're not at war with the dragons. I'm not buying it, Doc. Ending a war and exterminating a intelligent species are two very. I'm not buying it. Ending a war and exterminating intelligent species are very different things. Don't be so self-righteous. You drive your species to extinct every single year of this planet. Dragons are at the least have a cause to destroy. Humanity were born to reproduce, to multiply, but dragons were born to acquire, to accumulate, to hoard. Both strive to bend the world to their will. Humanity has conquered the air, land, and sea through sheer numbers. Dragons, however, employed different means altogether. Throughout history, they allowed us to do the heavy lifting while they pulled the strings. There are 17 great dragons in the world today, 17 ancient worms, millennia old, slowly dividing the planet into 17 pillars of gold to nest upon, in front of our eyes. Once upon a time, they burned castles to steal treasure we collected, laid waste to entire armies, but here in the sixth world, it's no longer about tooth and claw and fiery breath, the old man's voice seized with hatred. Now it's about public relations, marketing, mergers and acquisition. You can see every day dragons on the Trido in the boardrooms. They gather influence, wealth, power, continued hoarding until one of them sits atop it all. Perhaps not this cycle of the world, perhaps not the next, but one day one worm will stand alone, triumphant, with all humanity as its cattle, with all the world as its prize, and that, he trembles, his voice dropping to a whisper, that I will not allow. Intelligence 6, what if this virus mutates into a strain that can kill us too, you say? An intelligent question from a Shadowrun is surprising. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to explain it to you in detail, and since you're locked into laboratory with no chance to escape, I don't really need to. But understand this, I am an expert in my field. That is not an idle boast, it is a credible fact. And have worked with nearly unlimited resources for 40 years, focused on one goal, 42 years of isolation, of secrecy, dead to the world, dead to my brother, all of this, my life's mission. It will work, he looks down. I promised Hermes, it will work. Because I said so, defense. Very professional of you, Doctor, you say. You suit you an icy glare, so what you will, it matters little to me. My panacea will change the world in the end, you will thank me. The plan of yours killed your brother, was it really worth it? Even if you succeed at this, eliminating the dragons would create a dangerous power vacuum. Look, you're not infallible, Doc. You really made a mistake here, and people died as a result. The problem is saying this one is not going to do anything, because he's already completely unhinged. It's like we can try it, but let's go. Even if you succeed, limiting the dragons will create a dangerous power vacuum. He laughs. A pretentious argument. Any power vacuum created by another through dragonkind's extermination will be filled by meta-humanity. Any backlash will right itself over time. I am playing a long game, Shadowrun, one that has played out over thousands of years. When you think of the scale, everything seems possible. Humanity will endure and the dragons will perish. This plan of yours killed your brother. Was it really worth it? Von Clear fist slams into the table, sending a cigarette flying and a cascade of sparks. No, nothing can make that right. Nothing. He runs a hand through his unkempt hair, blinking through a haze of sudden tears. Damn it, Jaime. Why couldn't you just let me go? Listen to reason, Von Claire. Would Jaime want you to do this? Ah, did your brother die? That's funny, because you're about to murder my entire keys. We could try going for that one. That seems to be rather... Well, we could try listen to reason, Von Claire. Would Jaime want you to do this? It's one of these two. You don't have to add to his lock doctor. This doesn't need to continue. Let's go with this one. You do not know my brother Shadowrun and do not presume to speak for me on his behalf. Jaime would support me in this if he knew what I knew. I watched hours of your brother's videotapes, Von Claire. I probably know him better than anyone else alive except yourself. His face twists into an ugly sneer. You watch the footage, and that makes you think that you know the man. You know nothing. I know that he wanted to stop. I know that he wanted you to stop all these years ago. He begged you to, and you promised him that you'd try. Von Claire falls silent. A whisper of smoke traces its way from the top of a cigarette to the ceiling. He's right, Von Claire. Your brother was a miserable bastard, but he did die. But he did die trying to save you. If you don't turn your back on this, his death will have meant nothing at all. That's enough. Jaime's death was tragic. I will not let you use this to manipulate me. Von Claire straightens. He looks angry, but behind the anger you can see a sense of deep fatigue. Look, you're not infallible, Doctor. You already made a mistake here, and people died as a result. There are worse things out there than dragons, Von Claire. Exterminating one threat could open the door to another. Yes, there are worse things out there than dragons, Von Claire. Exterminating one threat could open the doors to another. He grinds his teeth, exasperation. Another pearl of wisdom from Shadowrunners. The great dragons represent an incalculable threat to our survival, as a species. To spare them of the fear of some unknown, numerous danger would be absurd. Besides, which there is nothing that is worse than a dragon. I am positive. I am in the position to know. You're wrong. You're wrong. An astral entity told me about things that exist out in the metaplanes. Horrific things that can't even hope to comprehend. He lets out a startled chuckle. What does that matter? What if your spirit story are true? The dragons are a threat to us now, but the dragons don't exist in a vacuum. They are part of the Awakened's world ecosystem, and they have been since the beginning of time. Come on, Doc. Think past your vendetta for a second. What if exterminating dragons change the landscape in a way that we can't predict? I agree that dragons pose a serious threat to metahuman, but we need to face the threat that is potent with patience and care. What we need is a scalpel, and the panacea is a jackhammer. Let's go with this one. But dragons don't exist in a vacuum. They are part of the Awakened world's ecosystem, and they have been since the beginning of time. Let us agree. I can't. This is the thing. I don't have academic. What does that mean? Smallpox was with us since the beginning, but I don't see anyone crying over its eradication. Dragons aren't smallpox. If you drive into extinction, you'll be creating a condition that has never existed for the whole of human history. There's no telling what will happen as a result. I will not just sit back and let them take over the world. I must act. His bare hands clenched to this. I will act. You may be right, Montclair, but this isn't the answer. Montclair glares silently through the glass. Look, you're not infallible, Doc. You've already made mistakes and the people have died. Actually, I've just been messing with you, Doc. Doc, I think your plan makes sense. You should do it. This plan of yours is crazy, Doc, but it isn't too late to stop it. Look, you're not infallible, Doctor. You've already made mistakes and people have died as a result. Wonka looks amused. Mistakes? He used a tip of cigar to gesture to the glass. So says the career criminal trapped in the containment room. I am reading some of your intel officer's communications. have there been a number of deaths over the years? There have been a number of deaths over the years, haven't there? He pauses. We suffered loss, yes, those were tragic, but people have accepted that would be risks. They made their own choices, I won't take the blame for that. No, of course you won't. Admitting fault might undermine the hero myth that you've built up around yourself. I get that you made their own decisions, but from what I've reading, it sounds like most people died from your negligence. Basic lapses in lab safety, it said. He glares at you through the glass. Is that some point you're just trying to make, or are you trying to anger me? My point is that everyone makes mistakes, even you, and yet you want to roll the dice with a biological weapon. Mostly I was hoping to piss you off, yeah. You've already screwed up, Doc. People died because of it, and you're willing to risk what happened on a global scale. Yeah, my point is that everyone makes mistakes, even you, and yet you want to roll the dice with a biological weapon. It will work, I'm telling you. Yes, sure, somehow I don't find your reassurances convincing. Bet you told your research that their lab would be safe too. Look how that turned out. His muscles of his corners mouth tighten. Why am I telling you, even talking to you? You trapped in there, and I'm still going to do it. Adrian will be here for you soon enough. The old man turns away from you, studying some visible details on the console. He looks irritated. If Hermes was here with us right now listening to this conversation, he'd tell you to stop this. Deny it if you want, but you know that it's true. He slams his fist against the glass, his face contorted into a mask of rage and grief. How dare you presume to speak for my brother? To hell with letting you live. You're going to have a front and centre seat for Firewing's return. I receive that twit myself. You're what, Doctor? Her voice is soft but firm. For a long moment, Von Claire stares at her, unmoving. Finally, his eyes flit to the ground. I'm not. If Hermes was here... Oh, God. The old man continues to stare at his feet, the blood that has drained from his cheeks, leaving him sickly pale. If Hermes was here, he would not support this. He would point out the risks, the unknowns, the sacrifices, much as he always had before he... Von Claire's jaw clenches, the muscles of his throat tighten as he forced himself to swallow. He would try to stop me. You still have a chance to give him what he wanted. You can put a stop to this before more people get killed. You're damn right he would. Now you're going to be a good human, to be the good man Hermes remembered you as, and drop this, or you're going to stick into this mad scientist routine and force me to put you down. You still have a chance to give him what he wanted. You can put a stop to this before more people are killed. You don't I don't think this one. Damn right he would. Now you're going to be a good man Hermes remembered you as, and drop this, or you're going to stick into the mad scientist routine and force me to put you down. Let's go with this one. You still have a chance to give him what he wanted. Let's go with this one. Reason, remember, you can always reason with people. Von Claire remains silent for some time. Finally, the old man begins to speak. He sounds hollowed out, gutted. For 40 years, I have ignored the rest of the world. I ignored the media and the military, the board of directors at Delhi, and my little brother. No, especially my little brother. I wouldn't listen to them because I knew that I was right. I knew that what had to be done, what they were blinded to. I was Hermes' big brother. I was the great and celebrity dragon slayer. I knew better. He makes a sweeping gesture, a look of contempt on his face. You see this lab, the complex we stand in, the plan that was built to serve. I sacrificed everything for this. My job, my health, my family. I was prepared to sacrifice Berlin to feed those people to the same fire that I spent my youth trying to extinguish. And with all the while Hermes was trying to tell me that I wasn't right, I refused to listen. My refusal killed him, my little brother, the person I loved the most in the world. He covered his face with a withered hand. If only I'd heard him, none of this would have happened. I'll be damned. I think you've talked him out of it, says Beatrice quietly. The old man lets out a heavy sigh. His entire body trembles. When he recovers, he looks almost like a different man, tired and frail, defeated. My cure, the panacea, it isn't right. It isn't ready. I was ready to turn a blind eye to the flaws and deploy it anyway, but my eyes are open now, and I do not like what I see. I cannot change what has been done. I can't bring Hermes back, but I can put a stop to this. I can finally listen to what he always was trying to tell me, to what I would never hear him say, and so I shall. I know this is hard to hear. I know this is a hard decision, Von Claire, but it is the right one. You say. He stares at his trembling hand, a sad smile on his face. More than 4 decades of planning, all undone in a span of a single conversation. My brother's words delivered through the mouth of a criminal. And I finally listened to me. 42 years too late. Through the speakers you can hear the sounds of heavy footsteps approaching. Adrian Von Kerr looks up at the orc, his voice trembles slightly. There has been a change of plans, he whispers. No time for that, Doc. We're working up the dragon's physical form right now. Everything is ready for the procedure to begin. You should see to it. There will be no procedure, Adrian, sighs Von Clare. The orc pauses. You're going to have to repeat that, sir. My plan is flawed, fatally so. The dragon will not fly tonight. Adrian stops in his tracks. He stares at Von Clare unblinkingly. This must come to a shock to you. I am sorry for that. Von Clare smiles weakly. My belief in our causes was only second only to my own. The orc goes on staring at the old man for a long time, and something in his face changes. If that's the way you feel, it's been an honor, Doctor. Von Clare smiles weakly. The honor has been mine. The Scardock stares at you through the glass as Von Clare's body cools at his feet. His eyes are brimming with hate. You shouldn't have made me do that, asshole. The Doctor was like family to me. I didn't make you do anything. You murdered him. I'll cry you a river. You killed Paul Amzell, you say. You'll join him soon enough, don't worry. But first things first, I have a dragon to release. The Doctor's plan, Panacea, won't work. He knew that in the end. It will. The dragons will die. I've seen what the Panacea can do. The Doc showed me test samples. It melted them. The dragons will die, yes, but that's no telling what else might happen. Unleashing that shit could have deadly consequences for us all. He continues and stares at you. And? Oh, you son of a bitch, mutters Dietrich. Looks who's talking. For your fault, Von Clare was a hero and now he's dead, and it is your fault. All right, this conversation is over. When I get out of here, I'm going to kill you, understand? So you want this to happen? You're willing to kill everyone, including yourself, for it, you say? What I want is change. The world is sick. Anyone with half a brain can see that, so I'm going to use Doctor's Wonder Bug to poison it back to health. It might get better, it might die. Either would be better than languishing like this. And if I die, well, so what? He holds his scars to the light. You'd think that life has been a bundle of laughs for me? I'm happily trade mine to make a different world. So, you want to change the world, but don't care what it changes into? That's insane, Aldrin. Oh, I get it. You've had a rough life and you've decided to take it out on everyone else, you snarl. That's fine, make it all about me if you want. Do what makes you happy. You're wrong, of course, but believe that what you like while you still can. Speaking of which, did the doc tell you that you're standing in an animal research lab? It's overflowing with test subjects, and they don't play well with others. Nasty, dangerous things, and it's well past their feeding time. He punches a button. From the corner of the room, you hear the hissing sound, lock sliding open. And now, if you excuse me, I've got a dragon to wake up. If you're still alive when I get back, I'll put a bullet in you. If you're lucky, I might even put it in your head, quick and clean, like your pal Amzell. He pauses for a moment, considering. You probably shouldn't count on that, though. And I'm going to try and put a save in quick. We can't save. Okay. I might just have to record this in one thing and then split it up into halves, folks. I don't think we can save at this point. No, the game has saved, it is said. Well, we can always try. If not, hopefully I'm not too far from a save point. But I'm going to end it here for today, folks. If you've liked, please press the like button. If you wish to subscribe, please press the subscription button. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Steam, or leave a comment in the comment section. Nice to see you all again next time. Goodbye, everybody.